Welcome to the US 87 virtual public hearing, which has been pre-recorded. We appreciate your interest and involvement in this project. Your input is critical to the project development process, and we look forward to receiving feedback and comments from you. This virtual hearing will discuss the proposed improvement project from east of the US 385 interchange to FM 2589, west of Dumas, in Hartley and Moore Counties. This presentation will cover the following: goals of the public involvement process, overview of the project, environmental overview, proposed right-of-way and displacements, proposed project schedule, the public comment process, and then we will adjourn. Additionally, since this is a pre-recorded virtual presentation, you will be able to pause, rewind, or fast-forward this video at any time to tailor your experience to your needs. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sonia Gross, and I serve as the Public Information Officer for the Amarillo District of the Texas Department of Transportation, better known as TxDOT. The purpose of this virtual public hearing presented by TxDOT is to share information and encourage comments from the public regarding the proposed US 87 project and to present the findings of the Draft Environmental Assessment, or EA, created for this project. Given the unique circumstances of the COVID-19 outbreak, along with our commitment to protecting public health during this national emergency, the Texas Department of Transportation is conducting this virtual public hearing in conjunction with an in-person option to limit in-person contact. At this time, the virtual format will be held in addition to an in-person option on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Appointments are preferred for the in-person option, but walk-ins will be permitted. The presentation will cover the same information the Amarillo District will be sharing at the in-person hearing option. However, the comment process for this virtual hearing will be different and will be explained toward the end of the presentation. All project information, including this presentation, can be found on the TxDOT website. The goals of today's virtual public hearing are to provide project development history and timeline, provide project information and overview, detailed review of overall draft project schematic and project updates, review the draft EA findings and recommendation, and review the concept of initial phase of construction. The project team will solicit input, comments, and feedback from attendees to be used to refine and improve this project. Prior to December 16, 2014, the Federal Highway Administration, otherwise known as FHWA, reviewed and approved documents prepared under the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. However, on December 16, 2014, the Texas Department of Transportation assumed responsibility from the FHWA for reviewing and approving certain assigned NEPA environmental documents. This Memorandum of Understanding was renewed on December 9, 2019. This review and approval process applies to this proposed project. This virtual public hearing is being provided to share information and to encourage comments from the public regarding the US 87 widening project. Notices for this hearing were published on the TxDOT website and appeared in the Dalhart Texan on May 7, 2021, and Moore County News Press on May 9, 2021. The notice was also mailed to adjacent property owners, stakeholders, and elected public officials. TxDOT also provided social media posts regarding this hearing, placed flyers at local businesses, and distributed media releases to local media outlets. The Texas Department of Transportation understands the need for both planning and design to meet the regional needs of long-term growth. TxDOT is proposing improvements to US 87 in Hartley and Moore Counties from east of the US 385 interchange to FM 2589 west of Dumas. The proposed improvements consist of adding capacity to this truck freight corridor and improving drainage along US 87, extending east of FM 2589. The project is approximately 19 miles long. The current right-of-way width varies from 100 to 150 feet along the project area. The proposed right-of-way will vary from 200 to 260 feet. The purpose of the proposed US 87 project is to improve mobility, connectivity, and safety. This section of US 87 is the only section along the US 87 corridor from Dallas to Denver that is not currently 4 lanes. The objectives of the proposed improvements are to upgrade US 87 from a 2-lane roadway to a 4-lane divided roadway, 2 lanes in each direction, enhance connectivity along this identified freight corridor, and improve drainage. Project construction funding has been identified by TxDOT, and the preliminary estimated project construction cost is $98.05 million. TxDOT considered 3 options to expand US 87 to a divided 4-lane roadway. One of the options was to add the new lanes to the north side of the existing roadway. The second option considered was to add new lanes to the south side of the existing roadway. It was determined that a combination of alternating widening to both the north and south was preferred as a third option. The preferred alignment provided the fewest impacts throughout the entire US 87 corridor for residential parcels, residential relocation, commercial parcels, irrigation wells, wetlands, telephone lines, and overhead electric lines. The preferred alignment will widen to the north from US 385 to just east of County Road 47. The alignment will then shift from the north to widen to the south 3/4 of a mile east of County Road 47. From County Road 47, widening will continue to the south all the way to FM 2589. We will show you in the next few slides what the widening will look like on both the north and south through typical sections. The existing typical section of US 87 on this slide shows how the roadway looks now. To understand this section, imagine you are standing on the road looking east towards Dumas. Within the project limits, US 87 is currently a 2-way roadway with 1 lane in each direction and 1 additional passing lane alternating between eastbound and westbound lanes. This is also known as a Super 2 configuration. The existing right-of-way varies from approximately 100 to 150 feet. The typical section of this slide shows how the proposed roadway will look on the north widening portion of the preferred alignment. Additional right-of-way on the north side of US 87 would be required for this option. To understand this section, imagine you are standing on the road looking east towards Dumas. The proposed roadway will be a 4-lane divided roadway with 2 lanes in each direction. There will be a 68-foot wide depressed median. The existing US 87 roadway will be utilized for traffic so that impacts to travel on US 87 during construction will be minimized. The typical section of this slide shows how the proposed roadway will look in the south widening portion of the preferred alignment. Additional right-of-way on the south side of US 87 would be required for this option. To understand this section, imagine you are standing on the road looking east towards Dumas. The proposed roadway will be a 4-lane divided roadway with 2 lanes in each direction. There will be a 68-foot wide depressed median. The existing US 87 roadway will be utilized for traffic so that impacts to travel on US 87 during construction will be minimized. Utility adjustments and relocations throughout the corridor are required prior to construction. The adjustments and relocation of any utilities would be managed so that no substantial interruptions occur in utility services. The draft environmental assessment, or EA, was conducted for this project to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. A copy of the draft EA and technical reports that are available for public review can be found on the TxDOT project website. The environmental study identified and assessed potential impacts the proposed project would have to the natural and human environment, including the resources listed on this slide. The environmental technical reports were approved by TxDOT and have been coordinated with other public agencies. This slide shows a list of all resources that were evaluated during the environmental phase of the project. The following slides include a summary of the more notable findings. The draft EA and environmental reports are available for your review online at TxDOT.gov. Keyword search US 87 public hearing, and are also available for review at the Amarillo TxDOT District Office. Approximately 272 acres of vegetative habitat would be impacted by the proposed project. Impacts were coordinated with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Per the Memorandum of Understanding between TxDOT and the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, best management practices, or BMPs, would be followed to avoid or minimize impacts by limiting disturbance to only that which is necessary to construct the proposed project. Additionally, the proposed project is in range of, has suitable habitat, and may impact a state-listed threatened species and several species of greatest conservation need, or SGCN. BMPs will also be utilized per the TxDOT Texas Parks and Wildlife Department BMP programmatic agreement and coordination between the agencies for this project to minimize or avoid impacts to state-listed threatened species and SGCN. No suitable or critical habitat for any federally listed threatened or endangered species potentially affected by transportation projects occurs within the project area. Therefore, no effect on federally listed species would result from the proposed project. This project will not involve any regulated activity in any jurisdictional waters, and therefore will not require the use of any United States Army Corps of Engineers nationwide permit under Section 404 of the Clean Water Act. A review of the Federal Emergency Management Agency flood insurance rate maps indicated the project area is located outside of the floodplain. The hydraulic design for the proposed project would be in accordance with current FHWA, TxDOT, and local design policies, laws, regulations, and standards. TxDOT historians determined that there are no historic, non-archaeological properties within the area of potential effects. TxDOT archaeologists determined that one new archaeological site recorded during the survey is not eligible either as a state archaeological landmark or for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. No further archaeological investigations are warranted. A hazardous materials initial site assessment, or ISA, was completed for the proposed project. 2 low-risk sites and 3 natural gas pipelines were identified. Special provisions or contingency language would be included in the project's construction plans to handle hazardous materials and/or petroleum contamination according to applicable federal and state regulations. Any unanticipated hazardous materials encountered during construction would be handled according to applicable federal, state, and local regulations per TxDOT standard specifications. A traffic noise analysis was performed in accordance with TxDOT's FHWA-approved Traffic Noise Policy 2019. Based on the analysis, 6 receivers are expected to be impacted by traffic noise. A receiver is a specific outdoor location where frequent human activity occurs. Noise abatement options were considered for these receivers in accordance with TxDOT and FHWA criteria. It was determined that noise barriers would not be feasible and reasonable for the impacted noise receivers. An air quality analysis was performed and showed that air quality impacts are not anticipated from the proposed project. A community impacts analysis was performed. No community facilities such as schools, places of worship, grocery stores, or parks are located adjacent to the proposed project. Therefore, no impacts to community resources or adverse impacts to community cohesion are anticipated. Although access would be limited to the proposed median crossovers, access would not be eliminated or denied to any area. Environmental justice, or EJ populations, occur within the community study area, specifically minority populations. In consideration of the proposed improvements, impacts to EJ populations would not be disproportionately high and adverse when compared to impacts to non-EJ populations. The proposed right-of-way would be converted to transportation use. No public parks, recreation areas, wildlife or waterfowl refuges, significant historic sites, or scientific areas are located adjacent to or in proximity to the proposed project. Based on the findings in the Draft EA and technical reports, implementation of the proposed project would not result in a significant impact on the human or natural environment under NEPA. Therefore, a finding of no significant impact is recommended. Let's talk about the right-of-way acquisition process. The proposed project would require the acquisition of approximately 258 acres of additional right-of-way. Subject to final design considerations, the additional right-of-way would potentially displace 1 residence and 7 non-residential structures. Once environmental clearance has been obtained and the project has been fully authorized, TxDOT would commence the right-of-way acquisition process. All right-of-way acquisition would be completed in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970, as amended. Information about the TxDOT Relocation Assistance Program and services and benefits for those displaced and other affected property owners, as well as information about the tentative schedule for right-of-way acquisition and construction, can be obtained from the TxDOT Amarillo District Office by calling area code 806-356-3200. Information is also available on the TxDOT website outlining property owners' rights, the right-of-way process, and the help provided by the department in relocating tenants and property owners. These can be found online at https://www.txdot.gov/processes-procedures/ROW.html. These documents contain detailed information on the process and requirements for appraisal and negotiations, as well as detailed information to inform you of your rights as a property owner. The anticipated schedule for the proposed project included Phase 1 schematic and environmental planning, meetings with affected property owners, subsequently identifying a preferred route alternative, and presenting that preferred route for public review and comment in the virtual public meeting. We are currently at the public hearing stage of the project to review the draft EA, environmental assessment, and collect comments from the public. Once public comments and environmental reviews are complete, they will be submitted for approval in summer 2021. Then, Phase 2 will begin, which will include the right-of-way acquisition process, utility relocation, and the development of detailed design construction plans. Phase 3 will include lighting for construction, which is anticipated to begin in 2024. Please note that these dates are preliminary and subject to change. The Texas Department of Transportation is committed to continuing our efforts to gain public feedback about this project. We understand this virtual public hearing format is a bit different, so let's take a few minutes and explain the comment process. Because of COVID-19, the Amarillo District is asking the public to provide their input through verbal and/or written comments. The verbal testimony will be similar to an in-person public hearing. The voicemail system allows you to record a comment up to 3 minutes long, similar to the time provided during our standard in-person public hearings. The verbal testimony option is available until 11:59 p.m. on June 9th, 2021. Please call area code 806-370-8060 and leave a voicemail with your comment during that time. Your comments will be recorded and a response will be included in the public hearing summary report. In addition to the verbal testimony voicemail option, TxDOT is also providing a written comments option. You can submit written comments in 3 ways, including 1. Online, via the TxDOT website, keyword search US 87 Public Hearing. There, you may fill out an online form or download a comment form to send by email or mail. 2. You can mail your comments to the Texas Department of Transportation, Amarillo District, attention, Blair Johnson, 5715 Canyon Drive, Amarillo, Texas, 79110. 3. You may email comments to AMA_project_input@TxDOT.gov. All comments must be received or postmarked by Wednesday, June 9th, 2021, which is 15 days from the beginning of virtual public hearing. Comments received during the comment period will become part of the official hearing record. This virtual public hearing presentation and additional project information is available for viewing and download at www.txdot.gov. To visit the project webpage, type in US 87 Public Hearing in the keyword search bar at the top right of the TxDOT website. Separate from the comment period, the public may also contact project staff by email at AMA_project_input@TxDOT.gov or call 806-356-3200 at any time during the project development process with questions. Thank you for attending the US 87 virtual public hearing. As a reminder, all comments on this project must be received on or before Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. This concludes our presentation.